Welcome to Managerial Finance. My name is Larry Byerly. I'm the content coordinator for the finance area at Thomas More College. What I'd like to do is work our way through an introduction of the course, what it's all about, the expectations for completion of the course, and we'll take a little bit of a tour of Canvas as set up for this particular course. So let's work our way right straight through some of the administrative details. This course is about financial decision making. We're going to talk about some theories and strategies involved with trying to enhance shareholder value in both some domestic and international settings. We're going to look at decision making, financial statement analysis. We'll look and explore risk and return analysis, bonds and stock valuation, capital budgeting, long-term financing, which also includes dividend policy. Thomas More has created a set of objectives for our program, and I think there are things that you might expect to get once you leave this program. We would hope that when you leave, you can communicate better. You have some better understanding of how to utilize technology. You're able to identify problems and analyze the information that's provided. We're also going to provide some research so that you can find the information that you need. We're also going to want to look at a variety of sub-disciplines. So within the whole program, we're going to talk about marketing and management and finance, etc. You should be able to utilize analytical and quantitative skills in decision making. And in the end, we would hope that you also can demonstrate some knowledge of the complexity of the decision making process. So those are the program objectives. The course objectives for this particular piece of the MBA program is we would expect you to be able to explain the basics of decision making and the financial management function itself. We would like you to be able to solve risk and return relationship problems, talk about applying decision making itself. You should be able to calculate valuation techniques for securities and projects. You should be able to differentiate and explain the models used to describe capital structure and the dividend policy. And you should be able to analyze financial statements of a real company. The outcomes then, we're going to develop a decision model for financial applications. We'll be able to use a variety of techniques to analyze corporate information. We're going to have an understanding of the challenges that corporations face in funding its operations. And we're going to develop and explain the process of analyzing financial statements of the firm. Course materials. Obviously, we have a textbook. We're also going to utilize a software package that's provided by that textbook company. There'll be each chapter will have a variety of videos to prepare for coursework. I also have provided Excel worksheets to help with completing the analytical piece of the course. And of course, you should download those Excel spreadsheets as needed to help with this development of understanding of the course content. In addition, I've also provided videos that talk about each one of these worksheets. And I'll show you that here when we actually get to the Canvas website. There are two primary components that we need for this course. The textbook is written by Burke and DiMarzio. It's the fourth edition, of this text. I've been using it for a while. It's not that difficult to read. In addition, there is a card that typically comes with the textbook. It's called My Finance Lab. Now, there's one of two ways that you will get this card in quotes. You may actually get something that looks just like this, the Financial Lab blue card. If you don't have a blue card, then you're going to need to go to My TMC, and under My Courses, there should be a link to digital materials. In those digital materials, you should find this course, Finance 630, and you will find this link. And when you click on the link, it will provide you with what's referred to as an access code. We'll talk about that a little bit later as we go through this. What are the course activities or class activities? You should expect to spend from 20 to 25 hours completing the assignments of this course. Canvas is going to help you guide through the course materials, and the activities include quizzes and exams, individual assignments that could be homework and or discussion questions, and there are also some group assignments. So let's talk about these individual pieces as we move on. Quizzes and exams. Each chapter is going to contain a multiple choice quiz. They're timed. You should be cognizant of the time so you don't run out before the quiz expires. For this reason, I would expect that the night before the class is when everything is due. So if your class is a Monday class, by Sunday at midnight, you should have all of the materials and all the assignments completed. Quite frankly, I wouldn't want to wait till midnight Sunday to complete all the assignments. I would want to work on them throughout the week. So again, just be aware of the time element. At the completion of the quiz, you'll get your grade. You'll be able to review the quiz and the questions. There will also be 2 exams. There'll be a midterm and a final. The students you're provided with the questions for each one of these sessions or each one of these exams, if you will. I don't care how you prepare for the answering of those questions. You can figure out how you want to answer them. You could collaborate with your classmates, if you will, or your group mates. But in the end, you must provide your own question and your own answer in your own words. The midterm is going to will be completed during the 4th week, and the final will be handed out in the 5th week, so that it can be due or could be returned to the instructor the end of the 6th week of class. There are individual assignments. Again, most of the assignments are directed through Canvas. There are just when you click on the link will take you to the My Finance Lab site. It will do this seamlessly, so you don't have to worry about going to another site. It will take you there automatically. There are discussion articles and videos for each week. Each session is going to have either an article or a video to watch. The assignments are due as prescribed in Canvas. Typically, mid-week, you'll be asked to reply to the discussion question. How you reply to that is obviously the instructions are for each week. You'll be able to read the instructions for the class. And then each week you'll also provide one substantive post, and that post will also include a reply to another student's reply. So you're going to have to respond to another student's reply. So you're going to have to read the articles, read the things that are provided by the other students, and provide some dialogue, if you will, or discussion of the topic as you see fit. This essentially is how I keep track of attendance. So attendance is taken on the midweek is when I will first take attendance. If you have not responded to that discussion question, I will wait till the end of the week, and then if I had marked you absent in the beginning, at the end of the week, if you have provided materials, worked on quizzes, etc., then I will go back and regrade, if you will, your attendance for the week. There are group projects. There's a research assignment. We're going to follow a real company. These documents are provided to you. So they're going to give you, we'll tell you what each task is, what the expectations are for the task, and it's expected that students in their groups are going to thoroughly review and edit the assignments. So you need to do not rely on the work of another student for your work. This is group work. You all get the same grade on this assignment. So it's up to you to review and edit the assignments. In the end, one group member will upload the project paper via Canvas. There are no specific lengths to any assignment. I would expect, since this is a graduate course, you'll provide graduate level analysis and the summarization of articles and the group work. There are some specific requirements, such as typeface, font, etc. But other than that, the actual length is dependent on what you need to say. So the more detailed the question, the more complicated the issue, the more you may want to provide information to the instructor. As I mentioned, attendance is taken for the class. It's evidenced by completing class work. Midweek is when I will actually officially take attendance first. And as I mentioned, if you miss that attendance, you will probably be marked absent. But by the end of the week, should you provide assignments or work in the class, then I will go back and revise the assignment grade. Essentially, there's 120 points that are possible for attendance. There are 6 weeks. That's obviously 20 points a week. And then there's 100 points that's going to be assessed for group evaluation. We'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes. But essentially, this is the way it's set up. 40% is for quizzes and exams. 10% is the discussion. 20% is individual homework. 20% is for group projects. And then there's a participation or a group peer evaluation that, again, is 10% of the course. What I'd like to do now, while we have just a couple of minutes, I'd like to go out and look at the Canvas site, and let's take a little review to see how I have set this course up for this class. So when you open the class, the format for every week will be the same, right? So once we get down here, we'll talk about the week analysis. But attendance and participation, this is obviously for me to record grades, etc. So that's not really of much information for you, but there is a section on course information. This video that you're watching is obviously there. Discussion, you need to have the right materials to start the class. You need to answer that question. And again, there are, if you read the assignments and stuff, it'll tell you how to answer that. You're going to watch this video. This video will give you a description of how to register for the My Finance Lab. If you work your way down through this list, you should be able to find the data that you need. Watch this video. I will tell you that the first couple of slides are not relevant since you're already in Canvas. But once it gets to the point where it asks you for your account, etc., it should make a little bit more sense to you. The actual module syllabus for the course is here. I have some extraneous types of things here about academic honesty, student resources, student support services. One thing that you may have an interest in is this document, the MBA Finance exams. This document essentially sets out the questions for the midterm. So for our midterm, there are potentially 9 questions for the midterm. You need to, between now and then, develop a graduate level answer that covers and discusses these pieces. So that is how the midterm and the finance will be worked. You already have the questions. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you 9 questions. I'm going to ask you 2 or 3 questions from this group. In fact, sometimes I may say, answer one of the following 3 questions. So there'll be 3 questions, and you choose one, and then I'll add a couple others. So again, that's how essentially the midterm and final are going to work. Once we leave the course information, again, now we can go to the pre-assignment, which hopefully you will be watching this. This is how you got to this particular video. There's an introduction. What do you do for the course? What are the expectations? One of the things I'd like, so I get to know you a little bit better, is I would like to ask you to complete this discussion. Just give me a little bit of a biography of yourself. Tell me about where you're working. What are your expectations for Thomas More? What are your expectations for this class, etc. So that's the administrative part to get the course started. One of the things that we just don't have time to do is to get into detail about the time value of money. However, I provide you some review points. What you'll notice here, these are the first 3 files are Excel files. Those Excel files, if you open the file, you'll be able to download the file, and of course, there is a spreadsheet under there. You can't do the spreadsheet here, it's just a picture of it, but when you download the spreadsheet, it will look like this little picture here. Once you have gotten to that point, once you have downloaded that, you can then work your way through some of these problems, solving for future value. Again, these are videos. So this is a video of how to solve future value problems. So hopefully that will help you with some review on the time value stuff. Most of the videos that I have are relatively short. Rarely will these help videos last longer than 10 minutes. Now, let's talk about every week's setup. Every week's setup will be the same. There are some content areas and there are some problem videos. So let's look at the content area. There is a set of instructions, tells you what to expect or what you should do for the week. Every week there will be some readings and videos. Every week there is, in this case, there is a PowerPoint slide that has to do with chapter 1, and then there's a video on that slide. I would start every week by watching the first video on the chapter. If you open the PowerPoint, you can follow through the video. They are identical. This way you can jot down questions, take notes, etc. There are 2 chapters in the first week. The second one is on financial analysis. Now what I've done is I also have broken this one out into some component pieces. So it might be a little easier to get through this particular video. This also coincides with some of the papers that we're going to write. In the first week, there are 2 spreadsheets for chapter 2 that are of interest. One on cash conversion cycle and one on the DuPont analysis. Every week under this component here of readings and videos, something about the discussion question will be presented. In this case, it is an article. So when you click on this button, it will go to the article. It's a PowerPoint file. If you open this PowerPoint file, if you click on the link, it will take you to, well, you'll have to log in. It will log you in, and it will take you to this PDF. If you want to download the PDF, you can download the PDF if you want. If not, obviously you can just read it from here. I wouldn't expect you to want to necessarily do that. So let me go back here. I kind of got, it clicked me out of my, there I go. Okay, so now we're back to modules. Sorry about that. So now if we go down a little bit further, we'll get to the group projects. For the first week, there is a research assignment. It's a Word document. You'll open up the Word document. You will complete it. You will plug in the tables, the numbers that are asked for. Follow the instructions with respect to the spreadsheet, right? There are also some other things. I send you to Yahoo Finance, and from Yahoo Finance, you're going to gather some data about this company. You'll then obviously upload that. As a group, one person will upload the research, and that will be uploaded obviously right here. Here is the financial statement. I provide you with a financial statement analysis worksheet. It has the financial statements of General Dynamics or whatever company we happen to be following. It has those financial statements there. This is the source of 95% of the data for your industry analysis. You're going to use the ratios that are computed, the graphs that are created. There are also some supplementary spreadsheets or worksheets and statements that are provided. So that's the group project. As far as individual activities, here's where you're going to address this executive compensation question. So obviously when you open this up, where you want to do your reply, it's the same basic assignment for every discussion question. Provide a summary of what you read or what you watched, in case it's a video. Discuss 2 takeovers that relate to you or your career. And then in the end, make sure you respond to at least one other classmate in the response link. So it's a very straightforward thing. The assignments or the questions for the discussion questions never change. They're always the same. There is, in this case, every week, I will also provide you with a PowerPoint that covers the kinds of problems that are important in this chapter. These will relate to possibly homework problems that you'll be coming up across. There's a PowerPoint presentation that talks about the problems or presents them. There's also a video of me discussing how you solve those problems and how you find the answers. As I mentioned, every week there could be a homework problem for chapters 1 and 2. There are homework problems, and there are 2 quizzes. You can kind of ignore the dates here. The dates will be changed when you come ready to do the class. These obviously must be completed by the end of the week, by midnight before the end of the class's week. The quizzes are timed, and you can only take them 1 time. The homework, however, is not timed. So you can take your time with answering some of these homework questions. Every chapter, every week, will also have a set of problem videos. One of the things I ask you to do is to gather some historical prices. This is a video on how you do that. Here is a video on how you calculate free cash flow, how you do this spreadsheet up above that is on cash conversion cycle. How do you solve questions or issues about the cash conversion cycle itself, and also a video on the DuPont analysis. Again, every week is set up the exact same way. From time to time, there may be more things offered over here as the Thomas More and our learning management system evolves. We may add things here. But one of the things I want you to be aware of is there are some things there are collaboration sites that you can want. If you want to collaborate with your group, you can do that through Thomas More, or you can do that in any other mechanism that you may want to do that. But there are conferences that are available. For instance, if you click on conference again, I haven't published this course yet, so it's obviously, unfortunately, it's not going to show up there. I apologize. But again, we can go out here and you can create a conference. If you want to have a conference with your classmates, you could do that. If you want to have a conference with me, if we need to do office hours, in fact, from time to time, I will offer those throughout the week or throughout the course, offer you a time when, say on Thursday night, let's get together Thursday night at 9 o'clock and we'll discuss the course. Do you have any questions about the assignments? Do you have any insight? Do you have any suggestions on how to make the course better? All of those things will be part of the course in the program. Of course, you can find your grades here. As an indicator, one of the things you'll be asked to do is to sign up for My Finance Lab. You'll go to My Lab and Mastering. Now, I don't know what's going to show up here because I've already done this. When you go, you're going to go down here and you'll click on this course home. When you click on the course home, it asks you to accept or decline. Unfortunately, you can't see that. Let me see if I can make this up a little higher. You'll see here it's not working. Sorry, hold on a second. I'm just trying to show you that there's a button here. Anyhow, there's a button down here that says I decline, I accept. If you accept that program, goes on to the next part. The next part typically asks you said you need these three things. There's no course ID thing that you need here, right? You need an access code. So again, I haven't fully set this up yet and connected it. So this next stage will not be this sign. It will be something else. It's in the video, so I don't want to continue any further because I don't want to confuse you about what's in this what's in the program. So I can't think of anything else relative to the actual Canvas site. So let's continue on. In conclusion, we're going to have a couple more slides. There'll be a peer evaluation at the end of the program. On average, you're going to be asked to evaluate your group mates. In this class, we'll also be working with something called teammates. I'll have a separate video that talks about how teammates works. Once that teammate thing is in function or is functioning, we may not need this peer evaluation, but it is here just as a stopgap, just in case the teammates piece doesn't function the way we need it. It's just kind of our fallback, if you will. But you're going to be asked to grade a student on several different categories, if you will. Their in-class activities, their weekly submissions, presentations, this is our paper, contribution to the team itself. You'll enter their names across the top. This is an Excel spreadsheet, and you will enter the grades. It's expected that the average student is going to be somewhere between, 40 to 70, right? Nobody is perfect. Nobody should get 100s. In addition, I would also like to ask you at the very end to give some commentary on each team member. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Is there anything that I can send to the next instructor so they can help this team member fix some of their issues with respect to the group? How can you contact me? There's several ways. If you need to talk to me in person, this is the Business Department Administrative Assistant. It's Beth Kester. Now, Beth works from 10:30 till 6:30 at night. So don't call before 10:30 unless you want to leave a voice message. But you can give her a call. She will figure out where I'm at, and she will contact and connect you with me if I'm available. You can also use the Thomas More email system. If you're working on a quiz or a problem and you have a question, there are links. There are links referred to as Ask the Instructor. Now, of course, you should try to exhaust other methods of solving the problems, but it will send me an email. If you send me an email, please tell me what class you're in, right? I have several courses going on all at the same time. It just is much more convenient for me to just say, oh, I know what class that's in, because you say, I'm in Finance 630 section, I'm in the online class, right? So I understand which class you're in. Canvas has a mechanism for messaging. There also, as I mentioned, there's opportunities for virtual meetings or chats that we can take care of. We can do that. So what are the immediate tasks for the class? Number one, you need to make sure you have the right information. So you're going to complete this discussion class. If you do not have access to the material for the course, that is, in particular, the access codes for my finance lab, contact this launch team, send them an email, tell them you don't have the stuff. Make sure you CC me on the email so that we can make sure that things are taken care of. You need to obviously then subscribe to my finance lab. You need to do this before the first night of class. There's videos that you can follow. I suggest you get this done as soon as you can. I would suggest that you do this. Review the pre-assignment. Again, this work has to begin as soon as possible. Then obviously read the assignments, watch the videos identified in the module, and get ready for a great time in finance.